you all came for, mostly, Kaitlin Goode is the Urban Wildlife Program Manager for the Georgia Department of Natural Resources.
There's a huge need for wildlife assistance in urban areas. Basically, my whole program is trying to resolve human-wildlife conflict. We've responded to over 5,300 calls in the metro Atlanta area. When I talk to people about conflict, there's a whole spectrum of it. For some people, simply seeing a coyote in their backyard is a conflict for them. Our job is to give you the tools to see as little or as much wildlife as you want with the sideboards of they're still gonna be there. Raccoons are omnivores. They eat everything, but like the subdivision's nice and quiet during the day, right? Because everybody's at work and school. It's a great time for a raccoon to come out and raid a trash can. So bats, we've got 16 species of bats in Georgia. They're all insectivores. So from April to July, bats are protected from home removal, because their pups are flightless. Geese, I know you guys are familiar with those. It's what we call pair bonded. Lots of people like to think of it as mating for life. It's not as emotionally taxing on them as that is for us. And it's either a love or a hate relationship. Typically, there's very few people that just could care less that coyotes exist. If they would just eat armadillos, they would find a place in Georgia and warm up to everybody's hearts. Bears, oh no, my picture didn't show up. That's okay. You guys know what they look like, right? So bears' normal activity, they're most active at dawn and dusk. They're crepuscular. Deer, everybody's other favorite critter. Again, this love-hate relationship, as you guys know, your landscaping is extremely high in calories for them and tastes really, really good. Gray foxes are native. Red foxes were actually introduced when Europeans came over. Snakes. Yes. We have 46 species of snakes in Georgia. 6 are venomous. Only 2 live here, possibly 3. So a little bit of a quiz. Copperheads? Neither. I tricked you guys. These are both banded water snakes. Copperheads have really distinctive, what we call saddlebags. We get phone calls when things are having babies, or making babies, or having babies, because they're just so active. I saw a coyote. I'd never seen one before. I was like, well, it's been there. Just goes through my yard every afternoon. Yeah. When we talk about conflict, there's 3 things that wildlife need, and they're the same 3 things that we need. It's food, water, and shelter. So wildlife does not want to hang out with you. Doesn't want to be your friend. Doesn't want to share space with you any more than it absolutely has to. But some things are a little bit more complicated. Bears and subdivisions. Bears at the I-75-285 interchange. This is the conversations that happen at our lunchroom is what wildlife species would you want to die from? But this is a great public service when they eat what they're supposed to be eating, right? Rodents, and they don't venture off into something else. Hopefully y'all don't have alligators up here. Don't call me if you do. And then shelter. And this is one that a lot of people don't really think about until it happens, right? Bats in the attic. Fawns, our state deer biologist, Charlie, has a doe that drops a fawn in his backyard every year. But the problem with turkeys is once they've decided that they're the dominant bird, there's no changing their mind. They're it. We had a woman that got spurred by a turkey, and then it wouldn't let her out of her house. And then removal. You guys are absolutely within your rights to hire a nuisance wildlife control operator to remove unwanted wildlife that they're allowed to remove. Deer, bears, turkeys, sorry, they're not allowed to do. But if you just know that there's a coyote in the area and it's really not doing anything, that's maybe not a coyote that you want to trap and remove because you don't know what coyote is going to come next. There's always going to be another one. Why can't we relocate things? Because you guys don't want the Atlanta bear that I trapped and put up here. We took that bear to Coyote on the Tennessee line and pointed him north, I promise. Wildlife are naturally fearful of us. It is an evolutionary instinct for them to be afraid of us, right? So safety concerns, right? These are the big questions that we get asked, cats, dogs, people, kids. Cats, I cannot emphasize enough, if you want to keep your cat safe, please keep it inside. For human safety, an air horn, bear spray, bear spray, bear spray, bear spray, it works on everything. You want to don't turn your back, don't run, make yourself the bigger animal. It's important to remember that they work on a dominant system. Injured, orphaned animals. So if you're going to rescue something, and I use that term loosely, make sure it actually needs your help. But we don't treat wild animals for the sole reason that we have to get them to a bait pile regularly, that individual, and then 2 weeks later we have to get that individual to come back to that same bait pile and give it to them, and then, okay, now Fox, be wild again. Pretend this food source wasn't here. That's not going to happen.
Well, thank you, Kaitlin.
You're welcome.